ama-projects wakhe. She executes them with the kind of bravery I think that's very rare to see.
Uzoma for hours in a specific space.
I think it was very bold of her to bear herself.
Igama lami uSthembile Msezane. I'm 25 years old and I'm a visual artist.
She was a different thinker, you know. My ideas were very different. But Tangu deep. Ngoba deep all the time.
Akusumuntu orecycle ama-performance. Ukhuluma ngento ebalulekile ngaleso sikhathi akhuluma ngaso. In that way, you have no choice but to be really affected and be absorbed in what she's doing. Whether uyavumelana nayo or awuvumelani nayo, but uke wayibona.
Akusumuntu nje opracticeayo art uyakwazi ukuthi phela abhale futhi ngokuthi yini lento ayenzayo and futhi ukuthi fitha kanjani kuma politics wethu namhlanje.
When I was at school, I was very active. I did a lot of public speaking. I won silver and gold awards for my school. Public speaking, that was the platform. Bengikwazi ukukhuluma ngazonke lezi zinto bengizicabanga ngizibona ukuthi azikho right.
You know, we'd always have a conversation about Erika Badu and about Jill Scott.
I think my family always knew that I was not a conventional kind of child who would choose a conventional career. They were very supportive, so they knew that there was something creative about me. And when I said that I'm actually going to study fine art, I don't think that they were very surprised. They were very supportive, actually.
I was very impressed with she decided to go pursue art because, you know, when you're a young black person and you come from a black family, it's very unusual, you know, to go and do a career that, you know, is very like you don't have it's not like guaranteed Utsi was about rich or whatever.
The shift in awareness for me happened when I finished my bachelor's, and during that time I started being more observant. So I noticed that there were a lot of statues in Cape Town CBD. There's something very uncomfortable about seeing a representation of only white, male, colonial, and Afrikaner men in the landscape. Because these symbols, in essence, they're part of collective identity. And if we're gonna talk about collective identity, then where are the stories of my people, of people like myself? Where are the black women in the landscape? Why can I not identify with a landscape that is in Africa, you know, that is in South Africa?
I think Yokala I saw was, I think it was Workers' Day, and she was dressed in the overall, and it made me think about a lot of things, you know, in terms of like, what do these public holidays mean to us? Is it just a day off, you know? But it really ignites a conversation around our history.
In 2013, I was still working, drawing close to Heritage Day, and I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was like, hey, Shazi, like in the society, as born, you know, especially as black women, as born, people don't see us. I was making a joke. I was like, you know what, I think I should just get a box, stand on top of it, and possibly, like, actually not even possibly, then people will be forced to see me. I was gonna use my body to speak about this absence of the black female body in memorialized public spaces.
Noma ngasesemphakathini umuntu wesifazane ekhaya iminyango ivaliwe, what kind of things do we experience? And ngicabanga ukuthi uSthembile ngemsebenzi yakhe, she's able to talk about such sensitive issues ezinye izinto esizenza si iminyango evalekile ilanga maliphuma ziyavela, and this is the platform, this is her way of creating low dialogue between abantu abandlulayo noma abantu abazile bazobukela iperformance leyo.
One way to share the load.
You can see that consciousness through her work. Like Umsebenzi Wakhe is a very powerful message all the time. We activists through her work.
Never give up. It's better to believe. Yeah, we gotta do it all together.
I wore my Zulu regalia that I wore Gumemulo Wami in 2012. And I took it into public spaces in different spots around Cape Town, starting in Rosebank in the train station.
One hope, one dream.
I think it was very bold of her to bear herself, you know, as angikhuluma ukukhumula kwempahla, but ngikhuluma ukukhumula kwemizwa nako konke ongaka-attach to umuntu, izinto okungenza ukuthi if uyaziluza then you've lost a part of you.
I took it to the South African National Gallery. I went inside the gallery, and because it was a public holiday and it was free, just kind of went in under the radar. And then the spot that really hit the mark about what I was really talking about was when I placed myself outside of Parliament in front of the Louis Botha statue. There was a lot of conversations happening in that one space. You could see the conversations of colonialism or of conquered and conqueror.
Into engijabulisayo ngosithe ukuthi unesibindi sokuya kule ndawo lezi ezingekho easy.
I know the kind of challenges that she may face as a female creator in South Africa today. When you create, your emotions, your thoughts, your energy iba ingxenye yale creation. As a result, noma ufike ekhaya, those emotions you still carry with you.
I heard a lot of comments, particularly from men, about what people think about umzimba wami or abantu besimame, you know. This is my studio. This is where I make a lot of my artworks.
Traditionally, fine art only included painting, sculpture, printmaking, and then, you know, more recently, new media. Uste's done what we call performance art. The work itself is the moment of performance. So the work itself is not necessarily what is documented, but what happens at that time and at that place.
I am in a process of making some sort of screen out of hair. The outfits, or I call them wearable sculptures, because some of them are made out of hair, but it's not real hair. Real hair is expensive. All the kinds of symbolisms that I put in my work, whether it's in dress or my ideas, are based on my view through the eyes of a millennial.
To performer with your heart, your mind, your body. Generally, I would deem my resources to do that.
Yeah, I design every costume that I make. Art can be whatever you define it to be. I was originally taught in photography, and I still employ those strategies in my work. I'd like for it to have like a lot of volume, so I'm just teasing out the hair.
I'm not going to reveal everything because I would like to keep a little bit of mystery for my final exhibition.
In my current body of work, in my master's right now, my work has taken me to different parts of the continent. I use this beaded veil because I insert myself in public spaces. And I am one woman, but I'm not talking about myself particularly. I guess I imagine that other women can look at my performances and identify traits in themselves or in women in their family and say, hey, you know, like, that could be my mom, that could be my aunt, you know. Sise South African National Gallery, manje. My work has been featured as part of an exhibition called The Art of Disruption.
I think one of the most exciting moments was, of course, when she did last year the Rhodes statue, which the work is actually based on Uchapungo.
By the time Rhodes Must Fall came about, I was, in a sense, relieved that I wasn't the only person who was seeing these structures as something that was a problem in our society. I think the process that was happening during Rhodes Must Fall was a process of re-conscientizing the youth of this country. Then it came up that the statue was actually going to be removed on that day. I had to finish off my wings. I had to go and fetch my stilettos and my leotard at home. I was nervous, but I got on the plinth and I stood there before there was a large crowd. And then by the time a lot of people had arrived, I think I had been standing there already for about an hour.
The moment was incredible. And then there was Ter on a plinth. And such a vulnerable position, because you can imagine Guti, these were stairs, and here's the statue over here. And there's a crowd of people. And at the bottom, of course, Amapoesa and so on. So you think, oh my goodness, what if people have to suddenly run or something happens and this plinth stuck on stairs? What if we are, you know? And she just stood strong. Through that image, I think it was such a brilliant image. Svea, my colleague, took the image of at the moment when the statue was being lifted. And she then obviously lifted her wing. It was as if she herself had pulled up the statue. But the moment itself was just, it was incredible.
It was a powerful moment for me as well, as a person, not just as a living sculpture. And I think I do the kind of work I do because I am trying to speak about representation, about spaces, claiming spaces, but also being a temporary living sculpture says a certain message, but it is not as permanent as a statue. And that's why I do what I do. Yeah.
Bobona nje ukuthi uyashake and then abantu bayeza bazombuza ukuthi wenzani, uyenzelani lento oyenzayo. Uyayibona into enjalo, and then khona nezinto ezingekho zinhle uthola ukuthi abantu babuza ukuthi hawu indaba ugqoke kanje.
People don't actually realize it, but there's a lot of preparation prior to the performance. So I will be performing on June 16, Youth Day. Preparation involves me buying a whole lot of wine that I won't tell you what I'm gonna do with it at this point in time. Also just making sure that my outfit is intact, and making sure that I have all my equipment in one spot. Maybe it's good to take that just in case. Scissors just in case. We can come back for the plinth. Can you take the
wine?
Yeah, the wine.
You never actually know what might happen on the day. So a lot of things might change and a lot of things might be incorporated, even though, ideas had been discussed before. But I think that's the beauty of performance.
So Gerald is going to be my photographer. He'll be taking stills. Gerald knows my rules, but I'll just tell the rules.
Okay.
Try not to be invasive. By that, what I mean is while I'm performing, know when to have close-ups and when to withdraw. My audience is extremely important. They might be people, they might not be people, but the performance needs to breathe. And by that, I mean that not too much like camera action happening. Okay, bye.
When you deal with so many ceilings and obstacles in society, you kind of have to have that tough skin.
I'm the curator of Any Given Sunday. And the idea behind this project is to really take art into the public space. So we haven't invited people to come. It's just people who are passing by who encounter art. The theme of the project is really to look at structural prejudice, institutional prejudice, and personal prejudice.
So my performances are usually endurance performances, which means ngiyama isikhathi eside. My longest performance to date has been about just under 4 hours.
Yeah, it's even worse.
Put stones or something underneath.
Okay.
Maybe the flaw is that this sort of uzipusha kakhulu, so often there's fatigue and so on, and the performances that she finds herself in are very, very difficult. So sometimes it takes a lot out of Fiena.
I want him in the frame, and I want myself there as well. It's gonna cut through the statue.
Something is gonna be cropped unless I take more of a landscape kind of.
I was standing right here though, and it worked.
Did you use this camera though?
How, Gerald? I was just here.
Hey.
Isikhathi engismayo lapha yana kuphuma kimi ukuthi ngizizwa kanjani. Mangimile lapho ngicabanga ukuthi iweather izoba injani because mangigula la futhi yabona I have to take care of myself. So mangizwa ngathi angizizwa kahle, then I will calm down. Safety is an issue. Mangibona ngathi khona ingqushu or ngiyazizwa nje ukuthi emoyeni wami nginjani bese nakena ngibheka phambili.
The big part that I often find myself playing is the security part besides the photography.
namhlanje yi-Youth Day. So size apho sizo-celebrate as uba nathi silulutsha olusakhulayo sizobhiyozela into eyenziwa ngabazali bethu ngo-1960s.
Since Youth Day namhlanje abantwana bangangathi teenagers kanje banxibe uniform bonwabele usuku lwabo namhlanje.
Phayana sibone, I think it's something of photo shoot.
This is a hell, it's a mess. It's a mess, it's a cross. It is a crucifixion. It's 100% right. What is being depicted on the banners here about division of the land, division of the wealth of the country, not just used for one particular group, one particular family. And this banner, in the blood there, right, is the whole weeping. And when I think of June 16, 1976, the one picture I was saying to a friend last night, one picture came into my mind with this little girl of about 12 years old running with her little brother or sister in her arms, running, and this child is crying, she's got a body in her arms, okay? And that's what I see that as.
She's been there for an hour and a half, you say? To just stand there in that wind and that cloth pulling her like that, it's amazing. I take my hat off to her. She's a very strong lady.
There'll be a lot of catcalling, you know, there'll be a lot of inappropriate comments that people say, mostly men, obviously. And I roll with the punches.
Everybody's suffering in our country, and nobody's doing anything about it. She's actually taking a stand and giving us the message. Everybody forgot about what was written in all those scrolls. Everybody forgot what South Africa was supposed to be about. Everybody forgot that.
And I just saw a man now walking past, and I think his wife or someone asked, what is that? And then he kind of just, it was like, the Freedom Charter, and he walked off. The foreigner came by, and he asked me what Uhuru meant, and I said freedom, because we are, we're still singing the same song, not yet Uhuru, not yet Uhuru, but just his interest, he was curious, he asked.
I would love to see umsebenzi yakhe ikhula kakhulu yaziwa kuma platforms amakhulu we art in the African continent, and ngimfisela ukuhle kodwa.
I'm going to tell you what's in store for me, because then there won't be any point for you to keep on looking. But do watch this space. This is only the beginning. And I look forward to see you somewhere, somehow, in some place, at any given time.